So what we have had now, I think, is food for the soul. So I said earlier when I was introducing the panelists, when I thought about the original judgments that our three contributors reimagined, the original judgments made me angry. But after reading the outstanding work and the reimagining that the three panelists did, I felt much better about the potential for the Australian legal system. And honestly, how easy it is to do better and how you don't really need to tear something down to improve it. It is possible. Maybe we need commissions, Makarrata commissions. We definitely need the Uluru Statement from the Heart. We need some institutional reforms, but it is possible to do better. And each of the three judgments, after I reread them, gave me a lot of positivity and hope for the future. So the genius of the Indigenous Legal Judgments book is the reimagining and demonstrating by practical example of how things can actually be different and be better. The subtitle for the book is Bringing Indigenous Judges into Indigenous Voices, into Judicial Decision Making. And I just wanted to spend a little moment to talk about the genius of Dr. Nicole Watson and Professor Heather Douglas. So they had the original idea for this project. They received the funding. They contacted all of us and invited us to be contributors. And it really was one of the most collaborative and well-supported projects ever designed. And part of the specialness of this book is the broad nature of people who contributed. So it's not saying that you need to be a First Nations person in order to have a First Nations perspective or in order to be able to hear First Nations voices. So we had non-Indigenous contributors writing alongside with First Nations contributors. And at every step of the way, there were workshops held, we had judges speak to us. All our contributions were peer reviewed in great detail, some of us, certainly mine was, very hopefully, but it was a rigorous and thorough process that was really tested and examined and made sure it was a valid way of reimagining what we were doing. And so the whole project is really an outstanding effort by Nicole and Heather. And so having now had three little sort of snapshots of some of the judgments in the book, we want to hear from Nicole and get her overall perspective about the project. Nicole Watson hails from the Birigubba people of the Bowen Basin and the Munjinjali of Bow Desert. Nicole is an Associate Professor and Director of the Narelle Centre for Indigenous Programs at the University of New South Wales. She is the co-editor of Indigenous Legal Judgments, Bringing Indigenous Voices into Judicial Decision Making. Nicole's a Queenslander, but because of where we're at with COVID, she's joining us tonight online. So I'm really hopeful this is going to be a seamless transition to an online presentation from Nicole. Thanks, Nicole.